Welcome to Cheyenne High School, home of the Mustangs, for our inaugural Mustang Media production of the year. I'm Eric Knodel. Joining me in the booth tonight is Jackson Miller. Jackson, a little rainy out there tonight, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, we're excited to have you here. We got the Mustangs taking on the Grand Forks Red River Rough Riders today in the matchup of EDC powerhouses. Mustangs coming in right now, sitting in the 3 spot with the Rough Riders sitting at the 1 spot. So, Jackson, obviously early in the year, this is going to be a good measuring point for these two teams, figure out how things are going to play out in the EDC.
The officials for tonight's...
We'll now move to the floor here, onto the pitch here, as we listen to the national anthem.
Emmanuel Nojang. We ask for your support of our game officials and respect for the calls of the game.
Love to hear that national anthem, don't we, Jackson? That means sports have started again here in the fall for the Mustangs. So, obviously, like we said before the national anthem here, the Mustangs coming in, sitting in the 3 spot here with a record of 2-1-3. Their only loss, technically, was a forfeit early in the season. So, they have technically, I guess, outside the record book, they have not been putting any losses in the loss column, Jackson. But they do bring in a Red River team that is sitting at 5-1 with 15 points in the EDC. So that's got to be exciting for these Mustangs to bring them in and a real challenge.
Yeah, I think for the Mustangs, I think some key wins here in the middle, towards the middle of the season, will be key, so they can move up and possibly take that 1 spot.
Yeah, it's probably difficult for Coach John Melendez. You know, you don't want to necessarily put too much stock on a matchup early this part of the year, but you know, when it comes to seeding, this kind of a match probably does play pretty significant.
It's a big game.
It's a big game early in the year, because at the end of the year, it's those points that ultimately determine your seeding in the region, and ultimately that sometimes is the difference maker on moving on to the state tournament and getting the matchup that you want in the state tournament. So. You know, the Mustangs probably going to come out hungry tonight, but what are your big takeaways, or at least kind of what should we look for tonight here from this game? Anything that you're going to be interested in seeing, Jackson?
Well, a few players on the Mustangs stand out pretty well. Dylan Seip, he's a good defensive midfielder, and he moves the ball pretty well. You got Soren Castor, who scores the ball. And you got Owen Casas, who is an all-around player, and he can score. So I think if everyone just plays as a team, though, tonight, I think a W will be in their favor.
I think the pregame thought for me here, Jackson, tonight, you know, we haven't had any rain all year long, and then today it just dumped on us all year long. So, you know, this is obviously a field turf. We're going to see how that plays out a little bit, but, you know, we haven't had to practice in any wet conditions. Certainly haven't had to play in any wet conditions. It's been so dry, and then today it's just been drizzling and raining and raining and drizzling, and so we'll see how the Mustangs are able to hold up on the pitch here with some wet conditions. So Ball up ahead. Early offensive push here for the Rough Riders.
Be out of bounds.
So right now, West Fargo, Cheyenne is sitting with 9 points, just behind Davies in the seeding. And I believe, I was talking to Coach before the game, I believe Davies was the only team that was able to give Red River a loss here. So things should get pretty tight here if the Mustangs are able to pull away a victory early in the season here against the Rough Riders.
And it looks like Davies hasn't lost a game either this year. They have 4 wins and a tie.
Yeah, so they're sitting at 13 points. As the wind blows open here in the crow's nest, got to expect that, these conditions are going to have to play a factor tonight. So, Jackson, can you give us the starting lineup here for the Mustangs?
For the Mustangs, we got Cooper Savalson at goalkeeper. We got Reese Breidenbach at defense, Trent Free at defense, Owen Casas as a midfielder, and Dylan Sipe as well as a midfielder. We got Elia Fioresi, he's a midfielder, Zach Breidenbach, Brooks Tulo Jr., Soren Caster, Abel Gardy, and Nick Sipe.
It's good to have a 3-year starter in the as a keeper for you, and that's what the Mustangs have out of Cooper here. So that'll be obviously a benefit going down the stretch. Anytime you have that kind of experience, that's going to bode well for your team. Good strike there, just goes wide of the net.
Shot on goal.
We do have some team averages to share with you for the season. Looks like shots on goal here for the Mustangs throughout the season so far. What do we got, Jackson?
We got 40 shots on goal on the season, which is an average of around 6.6. We got 22 saves and 15 corner kicks, which is 2.5 corner kicks per game.
So the Mustangs looking to extend that, obviously trying to stay on the attack here. Rough Riders flip the field a little bit on the Mustangs. Looking to attack.
Nice slide tackle.
Header goes back into the midfield. Pass up ahead, and I did talk to Coach prior to the game. He thought some of the combination passes that the Mustangs are able to put on the ball might be the difference in tonight's game, and so we'll have to take a look at that, see if they're able to really get the ball moving the way they want to. Gets over to Caster in the corner, I believe.
Save.
Soren gets a nice attempt at down in the corner there, but that comes up empty, and keeper gets it out. Big night for the Mustangs and the Rough Riders here, just across the way on Mustang campus. The volleyball team is taking on the Rough Riders as well in our gymnasium. You can catch that on Mustang Media as well. We'll try to get you some updates throughout the game. Feel free to open both of those up on multiple browsers. Watch us both. Could be a good night out or a good night in, I guess, depending on the way you want to look at this.
Here's a throw-in.
Ball taken away by the Mustangs. Caster with it now on the side. He's able to slip the defense for just a second, but the Rough Riders push it back out. Looking to get it over the top here, but Mustangs able to retreat in time. lot of umbrellas out in the stands tonight. Parents trying to hide underneath that.
It was absolutely pouring out this morning.
That's the advantage of putting in the field turf. Who knows what the conditions would have been like 2 years ago. Stolen there and up ahead and in the corner. Nifty little footwork there by Castor, centering pass. Oh. That goes off the iron.
That was close. A good pass.
Looked like the Mustangs might have something in the attack there, but
applying some pressure here to the Rough Riders.
Couple spin moves there, but Castor's not able to free it up. Mustangs did win the JV matchup tonight. I believe the score was 5-1. Mustangs were up 5-0 going into just the end of the game there. I think the Rough Riders were able to put in a penalty kick, so good win for the JV team. Looking to take a couple of wins, send the Rough Riders home angry on the bus tonight. That pass is stolen, and the Rough Riders look to flip the field here. They push it out ahead. Stolen there. Good little move and a attack.
A nice shot there. That was a good effort.
Looked like Cooper tried to dive across to save that one in the net, but the Rough Riders was able to stick that one home. We'll get the official score there for the Rough Riders. Not able to see totally clearly through the.
Scoring for Red River, number 10, Gannon Brooks.
And they said that score there was by number 10 for the Rough Riders. Gannon Brooks on the goal. We'll see how the Mustangs able to react to being down 1-0 here. About 32 left in the clock here in the first half. Stolen, but I think they're going to say
yellow card.
A little bit of a dispute from Castor, but ball to midfield here now. See if the Mustangs can answer with a strike of their own here. And the ball leaks out in the corner. Jackson, one thing that obviously any coach, at this point in the season is you're doing your best to work on conditioning and making sure that people are ready to play. Some of that conditioning is going to play a little bit differently because you've been practicing in different kind of weather. So
yeah.
This one will be interesting, having damp clothing and running around in more humidity, and we'll see which team is looking more fresh or has fresh legs come the second half here.
Soccer takes a lot of cardio, though. It's amazing how in shape some of these guys really are.
Yeah, they're very few athletes can do it like soccer.
What does that mean? It's just not updating.
What do you mean?
There's a push by the Rough Riders. Good block there by the Mustangs. And that'll be out of bounds, and that'll be a throw-in.
Number 15, Jaden Shine.
There's the Mustangs trying to make a move in the corner. I believe that'll be a yellow card. Can't quite see here as the rain is covering the windows right now.
Sorry, I lost you for a second there as we're trying to work out our preseason bugs on our technology. So hopefully you'll be able to see a clearer picture now. So it is 1-0. Rough Riders up early. On the attack. Breaks free, but the keeper gets it out. Ball coming in from the side. And a push out ahead for the Rough Riders, but Mustangs able to clear that out of bounds.
Stepping in for the Rough Riders, number 13, Nathan Christensen, and number 19, Breton Daku.
Christensen and Daku in for the Rough Riders on the substitution. You know, one thing you got to ask is how this team is going to play into the postseason. Obviously, brokenhearted at the end of the way
last year ended.
Last year ended for this this talented group of Mustangs. Obviously, they lose those seniors that had a lot of experience as well. But you know, many of these guys come back, and obviously that's probably going to make you especially hungry, don't you think, Jackson?
Yeah, didn't the JV team have to play for the varsity because of COVID?
Unfortunately, there was a COVID situation. We in the state tournament, you know, the Mustangs felt like they had a really good shot to, you know, they were in the semifinal game and lost the opportunity to get out there from some COVID restrictions. Hopefully, we don't have any of that happening this year, but. You know, that's probably got to make these guys really hungry at practice. I'm sure that's something that they're frequently talking about. And
unfinished business.
Unfinished business is a good motivating factor. Not that these guys need any extra motivation. All these kids want to get out there. They have goals in mind. But certainly when a season ends that way, Jackson, you probably got to think to yourself, they really want to, you know, come back and not necessarily seek revenge, but you know, get themselves another opportunity because the taste doesn't.
Yeah.
Free kick here for the Rough Riders. They push it out ahead. Well defended by the Mustangs, who look to push it up on the sideline. And the Rough Riders simply get it out on the end there.
Checking in for the Mustangs, number 4, Isaiah Williams.
Isaiah Williams in for the Mustangs, number 4.
Here's a push by the Mustangs. Oh, that's intercepted.
And it looks like the Rough Riders trying to flip it right back. They'll push it out front. Taken by the keeper. That rolls it out to, I believe that's Sept in the midfield. Over to Caster. A little bit of fancy footwork there, but that's stolen. Good opportunity here with the strike, but that pushes off to the edge.
Just left.
And I think they're going to say that did touch the end line.
It's going to be a goal kick.
So they'll set up a corner kick here.
A corner kick. First corner kick of the game.
It sure is. We'll see how the Mustangs set that up. Caster tries to bend that one in there, but... And I think they're going to call offsides, so back to the Rough Riders. One kick up ahead. Rough Riders on the attack. Good seal there. Mustangs able to retreat in time. So now we're sitting at 22 minutes left in the first half. 1-0 still the score. Centered there for the Rough Riders. Does slip out in front for just a second. Good defense to get it out. Rough Riders will throw it in here. Couple of substitutions.
For Red River, number 11, Lucas Height. Number 14, Gabriel Birchler. And number 17, Amit Wasiley.
So it's Height, Birchler, and I believe they said number 17 for the Rough Riders. I missed the name, but and that'll sail off the back. Mustangs able to come back with it here. Let's see if they can push. Svalison to push that one out. He gets it out to the right side, but that's intercepted by the Rough Riders. Mustangs able to push that out to the midfield. Back on the edge for the Rough Riders. They try to push it up ahead, and that's stolen. Now clear it back and across. You do see, though, Jackson, as the ball kind of scoots around. You see a sliding player on either team, and you got a spray of water coming up. So
Oh yeah,
that's probably
it's
got to
collecting
change
there
the
in the
speed.
turf.
Yeah, you got to change some of the speed. You know, obviously they have these rubberized pellets down on the turf, but any sort of wetness is probably going to just prevent you from getting those feet moving the way you want to, and that's going to probably change some of the pace at which you pass.
It's harder to change direction.
Rough Riders able to get the ball up the sideline. Mustangs steal it away momentarily. Look at the center there, but no one home. This is, the onset of homecoming week, Jackson. Big week for the Mustangs, obviously.
Football team's got the Packers tomorrow over at West Fargo.
And that's going to be a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Rivalry matchup.
What's key about that is the Packers, they won the first 4 meetings, and the Mustangs, they won the last 4. So the Mustangs are looking to get their 5th straight win against the Packers.
And that would be a big one this year. Obviously, the Packers bringing in a D1 recruit at wideout.
Carson Hegerly.
And but they're definitely looking to get some revenge on the Mustangs who've had their number the last few years. So should be a big one here to kind of set up. I believe it is the Packers homecoming tonight or tomorrow night, and then we're going to have our coronation on Sunday night. And that will be the onset of our festivities. So I think soccer, volleyball, and football all will have home matchups next week, so it should be a pretty exciting week for the Mustangs and the Mustang faithful.
I believe the Mustang prep rally's tomorrow, right?
The pep rally's tomorrow, so we'll get to see all the candidates and put in our votes for those senior candidates, find out who's going to be the king and queen of Cheyenne High for 2021. We do want to take some time to thank our producer-director tonight. That is Jacob Fisher. Jacob ran a lot of the productions for us last year, so it's great to have Jacob back. Of course, Jackson and I did some basketball last year.
That was
so
awesome.
Still learning how to do a little bit of every sport here.
I'm looking forward to this season as well.
We'll get some football in the coming
awesome.
weeks. We're going to do some football games in addition to the soccer games. We're going to do some volleyball games. So you're going to get sick of our voices out there at some point. 16:40 left here in the first half.
Rosales.
Number 20 for the Mustangs, Dominic Rosales into the game. Mustangs looking to push. Not able to get kind of the shots on goal that they were hoping for in the first half here thus far. Had a couple of early looks. One obviously hit the post. See if they can find some more attacks here. Kind of finishing up. Good centering pass there by Soren Castor, but that fails to get all the way back onto the field of play. So now it'll be the Rough Riders keeper. Nope. It'll get it out, and that's going to scoot all the way down. Sept with it now. That's Isaiah Williams on that side, on the far side. You can tell that the Mustangs do want to push the ball around, kind of get the ball to Sept and let him kind of play quarterback on the midfield. Solid passer, and he gets one up on the side there, but
that's cleared away.
Good defense there, and now looks like the Rough Riders might have an opportunity here, but they can't slip through.
That was looking like a great pass.
Does end up in the hands of Cooper
Savalson.
Out onto the side. Back into the middle. Well defended there by the Rough Riders. For the Rough Riders, we have a substitution. That's De La Cruz in. Number 2. He's a sophomore defenseman. Mustangs thinking that there was perhaps a use of an elbow there by the Rough Riders, but no call is made. And
Number 10, Gannon Brooks back in for the Rough Riders.
That's number 10, Brooks, the senior midfielder, back in for the Rough Riders.
Number
22, Cabrasi, the junior midfielder for the Mustangs, is also into the game. Mustangs looking to attack, but don't really have the numbers out to push, but Soren Castor is able to kind of slip through anyway and see if he can make the numbers by himself. Inbounds, stolen away by the Mustangs. And it's going to get released all the way down to the keeper, who's going to try to set it back up for the Mustangs. Just a little recap to the Mustangs season thus far. Started out with a home loss to Bismarck Legacy. That was a score of 1-0. I believe that one was that might have been the forfeit that we were talking about. They had ties with Shanley, Grand Forks Central, and Davies, and followed up with a victory over Shanley. And then a 3-0 victory over Fargo South. So state tournament this year will be taking place in Jamestown
from October 7th to October 9th. Here's Trent free throwing it in.
Trent is one of our homecoming candidates. Congratulations to Trent. And his mom's about the greatest secretary and administrative assistant on the planet, so shout out to Wanda. And now it looks like the Mustangs might have something
into the box.
Well defended, though, by the Rough Riders, and they try to get it out. Mustangs pushing it back in off the chest, and that's going to cross. And now they'll try to work it in from the right side.
The Rough Riders playing some great defense right now.
And you know, you can do that with a lead. It does help when you have that advantage. 9:30 to go in the first half. Not much of a home field advantage for the Mustangs tonight. The crowd can't get very loud underneath their umbrellas. Student section, unfortunately, a little thinner than normal. Going to have to talk to the students about being fair weather fans. You got to come out and support your team no matter what, right, Jackson?
Yeah.
Put on a coat, boys. This is North Dakota. We've seen worse.
We've seen worse weather than this.
Yeah, we can handle this. Get a little spoiled by this summer.
Number 9, Trevor Olderbach.
Olderbach in for the Rough Riders. So the Rough Riders start out the season with a couple of losses to Minot and to Davies. So one of those was non-conference. And then they followed it up with a win over Shanley, a win over North, a win over West Fargo High, a win over South, a win over Central, and then that tie or that loss to Davies. So a 3-1 loss to Davies was really kind of the only blemish on the since looks like August 14th. So they've been playing some pretty good soccer. You
could tell by that 5-game winning streak there. The Rough Riders, they were scoring the ball and they were playing some great defense. 2 shutouts in that 5-game win streak.
Yeah, only giving up 1 goal and the other 3 victories. So there's since August 14th, or excuse me, August 14th, nobody's been able to put 2 goals on this Rough Rider squad. So Mustangs so far getting blanked here with 7 minutes to go in the first half. We'll see if they can be the first to do it in about a month. Another well-defended.
Seems like every time they're getting down the field, the Rough Riders just come up with a defensive stop.
And it does appear that they are a little conservative. In fact, even through their goal early in that first half, they were able to leak one through. But by and large, it does look like the Rough Riders are willing to play this game as a low-scoring game and trust their defense and find opportunities like they have right here to see if they can get a leak out and another strike on goal. Push down into the corner.
Nice pass. Oh, good defense.
Well defended there. Rough Riders made a nice little move there on the little slip pass and looked for a moment like they might have an opening. Peeked into the center to see if there was something that they could work into the middle of the field, but there was no opportunity there. And Mustangs fortunate to get away without any harm.
Here's a corner kick.
You know, it's always interesting to see how these how the season starts to play out. Obviously, for a lot of these guys, they've been playing soccer all summer. They've been traveling around, playing on their traveling squads, and then they get a month, basically, of practice time before they really start to dig into their season. And, you know, probably the excitement early on, the legs feel pretty good, and then all of a sudden, you know, you get a little bit of wear and tear on the knees, on the legs, and then you got to work through a little bit of not necessarily injury, Jackson, but your legs don't feel quite
Fatigue.
as fresh, and so it'll be interesting to see how you know, especially on a night like tonight, both teams are able to handle. You know, the season is worn down a little bit now.
You know,
obviously, these guys are well conditioned. You're probably
Yeah.
not going to see too much of the fall off, but.
And that's the thing. Being an athlete is all about proper rest and care for your body. You know, some of the best professional athletes in the world, they take great care of their body, and they're probably getting, you know, despite being adults, they'll still get around 8-9 hours of sleep just because of all that wear and tear on their bodies. So it's important to regenerate.
I'm sure you do that, Jackson, right? You're never a guy. Oh, as we get
Another goal.
A great strike there off the left foot. And that's going to be a 2-0 lead for the Rough Riders there.
Goal scored by number 10, Gannon Brooks.
And that, I believe, was
The second
Brooks.
goal.
Yeah. So that was Brooks putting that one away off the left foot. It almost looked like it caught the Mustangs sleeping a little bit. I don't know if they saw that strike coming. And unfortunately, that puts them up 2-0. Now it's a tall task here coming in. We said, you know, the Rough Riders, a good chunk of this half has been played on the Mustang side, but you know, when the Rough Riders push it up ahead and they look to strike,
They've came through.
they've found a way to finish. The Mustangs have not been able to find that kind of interior weakness in the Rough Riders defense right now, and I think that's why we're sitting down 2-0 right now.
And that's going to be, especially in soccer, that's a tough task, especially towards the end of the first half. They're going to have around, you know, only the second half to try to come back from this deficit.
Hopefully the Mustangs able to find some energy here to build up into the second half, see if there's something that they can do on the attack to get things moving a little bit. I'm sure Coach Melendez is finding some X's and O's that he thinks might be to the advantage of the Mustangs in the second half, but obviously, as you said, Jackson, that does change the way that the Rough Riders will probably play the second half. You know, with 2.5 to go here in the first.
I think they're going to try to stay on their feet, and they're not going to take their foot off the gas, but I think they will play conservative. But, you know, you can't fall back on your heels and get lazy because the Mustangs could come back at any moment.
Well, they have had a series of a volume of goals here in this last win streak. You know, putting up 5 and 4 and 3, and so they have had that. They've had that a couple of times. A couple of fans here for the Mustangs said they thought there was a little offsides there, but no whistle. It's a good thing we don't give fans whistles, though. We'd be stopping the whole game. Every fan in the crowd on both sides has a different agreement on what's actually happening out there, right, Jackson?
Oh, yeah. It's also interesting match if that was the case in sports like football and basketball, where there's a lot of questionable calls.
Wind's starting to blow a little bit here at Mustang Stadium. Mustangs looking to push. Able to get the ball into the corner. Centering pass. No one home. That's going to skate out of bounds.
That would have been nice if someone was right there right next to the goal there. It could have had a header right into the goal.
Yeah, it did look like he was looking for somebody on the far side, but nobody was home. Maybe a little bit of a spacing issue. Could have been that the pass sailed on him a little bit, but we got 30 seconds left. See if the Mustangs have one last push. See if they can get it out ahead. Trent Free throws it in. It gets up to Castor, who works his way around a couple of defensemen, but
he's been working hard out there.
I coached Soren in basketball. I always said I never saw a kid who could play so hard and never get tired. So a lot of that is his training in soccer. We do get a little weak shot on goal there, but that's not going to be enough. And that's going to finish the first half here for the Mustangs and the Rough Riders, with the Rough Riders up 2-0 going into the second half. Obviously, Grand Forks Red River probably feeling pretty good about that. Coach John Melendez, he's probably going to have to get his boys to regroup a little bit, see if they can find a way to put some pressure on the Rough Riders keeper, Jackson, in the second half. So with that, we're going to take a halftime break. Join us here after the break. Hopefully you guys are staying warm. We're going to try to stay dry, and I imagine that some of these parents are going to run to their cars and see if they have any hot chocolate. So, Jackson, we'll be joining them here in about 10 minutes. So stay tuned.
That's better. I can see.
Nice, cool. So welcome back to Cheyenne High School. Joining us in the booth, Jackson Miller. We got a special guest here that's going to help call the second half. We have Coach Tom Kirchhoffner, our basketball coach. He's my golf mentor on the links, and here he is going to join us calling this soccer game tonight.
Well, I don't know about being your golf mentor, but I appreciate you having me on, and I apologize for not ever joining the broadcast last year. We had a good thing going, and just didn't want to ruin it joining you guys at halftime. So, but glad I could be here. Wanted to support the soccer team and support some of the basketball guys that are out on the pitch, and hopefully they can turn around this second half.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You did say give us some of your analysis of the first half here, Coach K.
I thought they did a pretty good job of controlling the ball. They were going into the wind. It's pretty windy out there for those of you that are at home watching. And I thought they did a really good job possessing the ball. They just had, one, that first goal that Red River scored. They had a bad turnover, and the Red River kid just ripped it from the 18 and put it in the back of the net. And the other one, I think it was just either another turnover or miscue of not marking up. And once again, it was just another well-struck ball by the Red River player. And just, unfortunate for Cheyenne. This is a big game. They need to kind of separate themselves in the standings. But right now, soccer is a game of two halves, and they got the wind. And I thought they did an awesome job the first half. The score wasn't a reflection of their work, so hopefully they can
Jackson
turn around.
And I talked about that too in terms of actually possessing the ball. It seemed like the Mustangs probably had the ball in their possession a little bit more, but found a way. The Rough Riders did to get a couple of those opportunities to go their way, and that's what good teams are going to find a way to do. And let's see if the Mustangs can take advantage of the difference in the wind here as we see a good save there.
By Savalson.
Yeah, that was a great job by the Mustang keeper there. And that's what they're going to need in this half. Any of the opportunities that the Rough Riders get, the Mustangs are going to have to shut those down. If it gets to a 3-0 lead, that's going to be really difficult for the Mustangs to find a way to battle back from. So, yeah, you do see, Coach K, you were actually sitting out there on the bleachers for the first half here. The wind did start to pick up, and it has played a significant factor in this first half for sure. Is this going to be a significant advantage for the Mustangs once they flip the field here?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. If you look at the flag, it's blowing pretty good right now, and rain's really not an issue. Probably the only person that's thinking about the rain right now would be the goalkeeper of just trying to keep his gloves dry. But, Shine had a really good opportunity that first half. I believe it was 15, Soren Caster. He kind of went right through the defender's legs and then passed it to another guy. Oh,
tremendous goal there. Awesome strike there by the Rough Riders. That one's going to sting a little bit. Cooper made a great attempt at the save there, but that one was just fired through the corner.
Red River goal scored by number 10.
His third goal of the night. It's a hat trick.
There's the hat trick there for number 10 for the Rough Riders, having a heck of a night.
Yeah, I tell you what, he struck all three of those pretty well tonight.
Yeah, that was
Gannon Brooks. It's a midfielder.
That was not that one was not missed. He got all that one. And just as we said, Jackson going down 3-0, that makes it tough here for the Mustangs. Strategy-wise, what do you think Coach Melendez is going to have to do here? You're going to have to maybe take some chances to get yourself back in the game, but some of those chances might put you even further down.
I think you have to push the tempo and start picking up the pace here because we're in the second half now, and 3-0 in soccer. That's a tough deficit to come back from, but it is possible if I think they just, push the tempo a little bit more and take some chances.
So it looks like we do have a free kick here for the Mustangs.
It's going to be Dylan Seip.
I thought Sept played a pretty good first half for the Mustangs. Did a really nice job of kind of orchestrating his teammates and trying to get the ball moving around, but just not able to find a way to kind of slip the defense. And Sept makes a nice attempt there. From our angle, it looked like it might find the back of the net, but maybe a little too much wind on that one, and
yeah, it was a well-struck ball, but sometimes when you got that wind, it just tends to push it a little bit and push a little bit higher. And Aaron, you kind of know that with golf and stuff like that. When you got the wind in the back, you kind of got to make sure you select a different club there.
Yeah, I've definitely hit a few out of bounds on the golf course. I think they mean a little bit something different.
And it's the time when you hit the
they
ball.
They do on a free kick, but
and when you hit the ball solidly too, and it goes too far.
So the Mustangs looking to push here, and I think they're going to say that free kick here for the Mustangs.
Here's Breidenbach. Got an injury.
A little bit of an injury timeout here. Mustangs will try to regroup, figure some things out while they're given some extra time here. And it looks like number 6 for the Rough Riders going to limp off the field. So this is going to be Reese Breidenbach here with the free kick as the Mustangs try to find a way to see if they can orchestrate some offensive threat here. Got some substitutions in for the Mustangs. Rough Riders able to push it out a little bit here, and now they do come free with it, and they push it up ahead, but that's Breidenbach able to push it over to the sideline. Push it up ahead.
Checking into the game. First for Red River, number 9, Trevor Olderbach.
Number 9,
And number 15,
Olderbach.
Hayden Sheen.
In for the Rough Riders. A couple of substitutions for the Mustangs. I think they'll get those to us in a second.
Checking in for the Mustangs, number 9, Jackson Palm. Number 19, Neymar Wynn.
So number 9, Palm,
Dominic Rosales.
and Rosales into the game,
14, Noah Zent.
as well as Noah Zent. So Kirchhoffner obviously is a head coach of another program. What do you say to as we see the Mustangs find a way to push? Rough Riders knock it free for a second, but the Mustangs still a little bit on the offensive. Not able to free that one up. But Kirchhoffner, you've dealt with this kind of early in the season. This is probably not something where you say, hey, we're in a do-or-die situation to kind of get the seeding what we want. But, what do these early games mean, in the season when you're looking at another team that might be above you in the standings? And what's the approach that you take as a coach to try to get your players to both be motivated for this game, but understand that the season's still got a long way left?
These games, they're just all learning experiences right now. You're just trying to get better. So when you get to the end of your season, and I believe that is mid-October for the soccer season when they get to, the state tournament. So right now they just got to make sure that they get to the state tournament and kind of position themselves. And, I'm just looking at the standings here. I was kind of shocked, surprised that Red River, they're the top team in the EDC at 5-1, and they dropped their first 2 games of the year, and then they went on a run of winning those 5 games in a row. So, like the number 10, he's got a hat trick this game. He's having a heck of a game. So you kind of got to tip your hat to those guys that are just playing out of their mind right now. And Coach Melendez, he just made the substitution of putting 4 or 5 guys in and getting them experience. There's 32 minutes left in this game. This game's not totally over, but maybe one of those substitution guys can be a spark and get these guys going.
For the Mustangs, I think you're right, Kirchhoffner, and we talked a little bit about this in the first half, but it'd be good to have your perspective on this. You had your season a couple of years ago in basketball cut short due to COVID, in the semifinals of the state tournament. This soccer team understands that heartbreak as well, losing the opportunity to play last year in the semifinals of their state tournament, and that obviously certainly it's heartbreaking there, but, these guys, does that bring an extra level of focus and effort out of these kids, especially, the kids that were on the team from last year?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. They still have something to prove, and, obviously they love the game. They love the sport, and, it is devastating when you have your season be cut short, and I felt really bad for those kids last year that they had an undefeated season and they got all the way to the state semifinals, and they weren't able to play. So it really felt bad for those kids, and we're just lucky that these kids are be able to get the opportunity to play, and not a great evening with the wind and the rain, but we're out here playing soccer.
Yep. Ball stuck on the sideline there. Both teams seem to be battling for it, but the Mustangs coming away with it somewhat clean right now, pushing it all the way into the corner. And the Rough Riders able to poke it away before the Mustangs get an opportunity for a corner kick.
Yeah, and the thing right now is Red River can really just sit back there in the driver's seat. They can really, bring back an extra defender, really protect their own net, and if the ball's kind of close, kick it out of bounds, waste some more time, because right now the clock is their friend right now, and Sheyenne just got to work on getting some positive things, and they got some subs in right now, so they got to see if they can do some bright things here and get some experience. We just got one there and just missed it left to the goal there.
Good opportunity there for the Mustangs. Best one probably so far in this half, outside of the free kick, and that one just sails outside the crossbar. So.
Checking into the game, first for Red River, number 14, Gabriel Birchler. Number 17, Amit Wasiley. And number 19, Breton Daku. And for Sheyenne, number 1, Jade Kupitz. And number 21, Nick Sept.
A couple of substitutions in for the Mustangs. And the Rough Riders. Do want to have a shout out to former coach and colleague of ours, Lewis Grant, who's down in Florida. Texted me during the game, said he's enjoying watching from a distance. He said, he'd love to be able to call the game remotely. I said, hey, we'll try to see if we can figure out an opportunity to do that. So Coach Grant, we miss you up here. I know you're doing well down in Florida, and we're glad that you're able to tune in with us tonight. So we're sitting under 30 minutes here, 27:45 to play in the second half. Mustangs looking for just a little bit of energy that's going to get this game maybe turned around for them. Just looking for one break, and the breakout now. Oh. I think that was the keeper just got a little bit of finger on it just to get it to sail high enough, but for a moment there it looked like it might creep in. Just enough backspin on it after it hit the keeper's hand to sail a little bit high, and fortunate there for the Mustangs. It was another nice attack there by Red River.
Yeah, it was a good job by number 1, Jay Kubitz, of getting his hands and pushing it so it got above the crossbar there. And so that'd be, 5-6 subs right there if they just took out Cooper at goalie. So we got a new – and right now, Coach Melendez just giving a lot of his guys experience right now. 3-0 in soccer, it's a very tough score to overcome. So he's just getting a lot of guys out on the field and getting them experience, getting them exposure to varsity soccer. Isaiah Williams with the push in the back, but no card there. Should be a kick by Red River, as the officials are talking it over. I think it was inbounds before it went out of bounds.
We'll see if we can get an update on the volleyball match here. We'll pull that up. That's also streaming right now on Mustang Media. So if you're happening to watch that a little bit tonight as well.
Nice cross by the Red River player there, number 10. That's the guy that's got the hat trick.
Gannon Brooks.
Gannon Brooks. Nice little set piece by Red River.
Exciting week here at Cheyenne. As we said before, the homecoming festivities will take place next week. We do have our homecoming pep rally tomorrow. We're going to see a lot of colors. I believe the seniors will be wearing blue tomorrow at school. The juniors are going to be wearing orange. I think the sophomores are going to be wearing black, and the freshmen are going to be wearing white. Didn't have an opportunity to have a pep rally last year, Jackson. So you guys didn't get quite the full extent of what's that like here as a sophomore. This is going to be
the first time
you've had the experience of that. I don't know, Kurt Schaffner, he can attest to this, but part of the pep rally is to see how loud the seniors are to the freshmen. You avoided that, Jackson. So you were fortunate that you didn't have to hear what the seniors have to say about freshmen. So.
I'm pretty excited for that tomorrow. It's pretty electric, for those of you that aren't in the school system or the educational building. It's just, it's a lot of energy and a lot of excitement, and it kind of kicks off your year. And, as we were starting our school, and I think you will remember this, Aaron, when we first started out, it's guys and girls didn't know the school song. They didn't know when to stand, didn't know when to cheer, and I remember vividly when it just kind of took off, when all of a sudden all the sides were full, everybody stood up, everybody's pounding the bleachers. It was pretty awesome. And then I remember the winter pep rally when the basketball team came out and they all did line dancing and stuff like that. So that was pretty awesome.
It'll be fun to see what's in store for us, so what kind of skits and what kind of energy. Obviously, the student body's hungry for it too, just like you said, Kurt Schaffner. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that this school, how much it's grown. We were such a small community at first, kind of knew every student. Here we are, just a short time later, we're the largest school in the state of North Dakota. Obviously Minot's got the more students in their school system, or in their high school technically, but they're on 2 campuses. But as a single campus, we're the largest school in North Dakota, and it wasn't a long time ago that we were just the little guys.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think when we first started out, I think we had a total enrollment of, just over 800, and now we're at 1,600, 400 a class. I think our incoming freshman was 386 last time I checked.
And, Melendez is one of those guys that's been around since the beginning here, and he's been coaching a long time for the Mustangs. And certainly, I think you're right, Kirchhoffner, and certainly, Jackson, you can speak to this too, but there's a different kind of energy and enthusiasm for Mustang sports. Everybody obviously, everybody can claim, they have the best student section, but we got to be right among them, with the kind of excitement that our student section will bring.
Well, at the state basketball tournament for Class A out in Bismarck this past March, our student section was pretty big. It was almost going into the kind of where you're walking down into the bleachers. That's how far up our student section was.
I would expect that tomorrow's game, the football game here with the Packers, I think
packed over there.
Both schools are going to have plenty of seats filled. The Packers are obviously the in-town rivals. They're the big brothers. They like to claim that the newbies, the little brother is Cheyenne. But as you said, Jackson, the Mustangs have found their way to beating the Packers the last 4 times. So that's going to be a great game. Both teams coming away with victories early in the season. So that'll be exciting, and it's going to certainly going to be the end of the Packers homecoming week and the beginning of ours, and so you're going to see a lot of noise, I think, at that one. Hopefully we get better weather than we did tonight.
They already had homecoming?
I believe their homecoming is this week. I could be wrong on that, but I believe this is their homecoming week. Theirs might be a week after. I could be mistaken.
Say it's a little early right now. But, it'll definitely be packed over there. They'll definitely have the other side will be filled out with the bleachers. And, I think if it was here, I don't think we would be able to have the capacity. And hopefully in some time we'll be able to get bleachers on the other side.
Yeah, we need them.
Yeah, I do know there were a couple of different times where we had to bring in some kind of temporary bleacher facilities just to fill the student sections, and there were kids standing all along, and just like everything, our facilities have had to grow with our building, and it is great looking out on this field. Though you look at the pitch tonight, Jackson, this has got to be as sharp of a field as you're going to find in the state of North Dakota. The contrast, the colors, the bright blue, the bright orange, it does jump, doesn't it?
We finally got a logo in the center field too, which I think makes it stand out too, as well.
Yeah, if knowing the history of this field this was first going to be just a practice facility, or it was going to be the freshman JV complex, and
That's
so they
right.
never really put money into the turf, and it was a practice track, and we were always going to play somewhere else at Ladone or West Fargo. Just never really had that vision right away to build it big right away and do it right, and eventually I'm really happy that we got this turf, because it's probably, I think it is one of the best looking fields in the state, and I think that blue does pop.
And certainly, as we said in the first half, with the amount of rain that we had today,
the turf helps because the game was able to stay on.
You see some of the puddles even on the edges of the field here. There would have been water sitting everywhere if this wasn't field turf, and they put the sand and they got the rubber pellets, and here they are. And I asked the question before the game, how would this field hold up? And it does look like it sucked up all that water, all that moisture, and these rubber pellets. Kids are still cutting. They still look like they're still moving pretty good. And so with 20 minutes to go here, 3-0 in favor of the Rough Riders. You know, the one thing that, as you said, Coach, the teams are going to have an opportunity to look at the film after this game, and they're going to want to find a ways to grow and educate themselves and improve by the end of the season. This is certainly not the end for the Mustangs. And they're going to look at this and say, hey, here's where we got to get better, and certainly Coach Melendez is going to find some ways to do that. What is it that you think you're going to have to, as a coach, what do they have to say to them so that mentally they don't look at this as a big setback?
I think they just got to really, flush this game and just, regroup. You're going to have those games from time to time and move on. And it's early in the season. It's September 2nd. They're still in the middle of the conference. And so as long as they take care of business, as long as they take care of the teams that are below them, I haven't I got to look again at the, the EDC bylaws of how they work. Is it just the top 4 off their standings, off the points?
Off points, I believe, yep.
Yeah, so as long as they're in that position, and then sometimes it's, who do you match up against, and maybe you don't like a certain team of how they align their formation. Everybody kind of has a different style, and so do they want to be the 3 seed in the EDC, but then that means they were going to be on Red River's bracket, or maybe they want to say, hey, we want to avoid Red River, we want to be a 204 seed. And sometimes it's very I don't know if people understand that you might be thinking you're the favorite, but sometimes there's just certain teams that you don't match up well against, or certain teams that you like matching up against. And so they just got to regroup with this game, and I thought they did an awesome job of possessing, the soccer ball that first half. I thought they had more time of possession of the ball, but Red River just really capitalized and then came out that second half and really just put this game away. Good opportunity there.
And, Jackson, you as an athlete yourself, you probably understand, the importance of just having a really short memory and not having, those moments where you take, all the highs as too high and the lows as too low. Every day you got to go back to work, and that's certainly probably what these players got to be thinking.
I think the best athletes have the greatest mindsets, and really it's all in the mind. If you can be physically gifted, and if you don't have a good mindset, you will not perform well. So I think having a great mindset is the biggest factor to succeeding as an athlete.
That was a good cross by number 4, Isaiah Williams. A cross on the corner kick there, just going off the crossbar there. And right now, Red River, they just want to keep a clean sheet right now. They just don't want to allow a goal. So awesome job. And he almost got it in with that wind. He just had to put it out a little more out in front of the net. Number 4, Isaiah Williams, trying to possess the ball there. Right now, as a coach, you're just trying to look for the positives, whether that be trying to get a goal on the scoreboard, or just trying to see a spark of the younger guys, see if they can do some positive things, see if you can build some depth for future games.
You can see the rain coming down a little bit when you it is booking a little bit, shooting from the south up to the north across the field here, and that is definitely obviously something that has played a factor here. We were kind of hopeful that the Mustangs were able to get that win behind them and be on the attack, but haven't been able to find a way to use the wind to their advantage in this second half, have they?
No, they haven't. It just Red River just seems like they've been in control of this game. They just possessing the ball, and then there's a couple of opportunities where Cheyenne had the ball. They just put a little too much on it and went out of bounds. Here they're making a run right now. Breitenbach is making a run at it right now. I thought he's played a heck of a game. Number 2, Reese Breitenbach. It seems like he's just been flying all over the field. He's got his captain's badge.
And he's a track star as well. You can see the guy. He's got a burst. He's a sprinter. And the conditioning is obviously there. He's had a couple of opportunities here where he's really separated himself with his speed, but again,
he's got great endurance. I remember watching him when out during my season in track back in 7th grade. When he was in 8th grade, he was running the 400 in under a minute. So, just seeing those times really just shows how great of a athlete he is.
That was a big deal to be under a minute in middle school, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. There was a time where I was close. I got a minute flat, and just a second longer than I wanted. But I think when you break,
Jackson, you want to take a bet?
There we go.
Good attack there.
Good strike by number 21, Nick Snipe, right there, sophomore midfielder.
I don't know if Kirchhoffner and I ran for a minute. Who do you think could win that foot race? I'm gonna put my money on me. I'm known for.
Are you just saying that because?
I think Kirchhoffner might have me. He busted up his knee several years ago, but unfortunately.
Another good opportunity. Another good cross there by Isaiah Williams. Really just hung it up there in the wind, and the wind is just pushing it. It's really tough from a goalie. A lot of times you're just trying to punch it out. Definitely, I wouldn't want to try to catch it because, you get it on your fingertips, it's going to go right through. So you definitely just want to punch those out as a goalkeeper.
And you can even see there Isaiah Williams just kind of dropped the ball softly onto the turf, and the ball rolled about 10 yards before the Rough Riders were able to pick up the ball. So obviously, even just in, when the ball's sitting on the ground, that wind is really cooking. Obviously, if you're going to grow up playing soccer in North Dakota, though, you've played in conditions like this.
Yep.
You understand what that means, and
I think it's a sport though where you can play, in tough conditions. It's one of those unique sports where you can play in almost all conditions except possibly when it's lightning out. That's
nothing worse than the delay. I think they had one the other night.
But really, soccer is a sport where you can play in the rain.
The one condition I don't think I want these kids to ever play in is the turf that the Community Bowl had in Bismarck, the old Astro turf where it was literally concrete and then carpet.
The old Metrodome kind of turf. These guys don't even understand what the original turf looked like. These guys, they might get a little bit of a rug burn every once in a while, but that wasn't like playing on concrete with a little bit of carpet on the top, right, Kirchhoffner?
Yeah, that was terrible. You'd get a burn and you'd have that for 3 years.
So we're sitting at 12-12 to play here, 3-0 in favor of the Rough Riders, the visitors on the scoreboard here. We do want to thank the Mustang faithful, the parents and the fans that came out tonight and endured this pretty rigid and windy and wet environment to support their team.
Right now, Red River, they're just keeping their alignment. They're keeping their defensive shape, just making sure that they're all working together, that none of the Cheyenne players are able to kind of work their way through. And we got a yellow card by number 3, Trent Free. Didn't kind of see what happened, maybe some extra pushing. He's probably taught that in basketball, got to be physical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't back down.
No harm in the yellow at this point in the game. 12 minutes to go.
In high school, I think they get a yellow card. They got to come out, correct?
That might be true.
Yeah, because he just came out and had a seat on the bench. I think that's the high school rule.
In the pros, isn't it usually a red card?
Red card, you get to come out and then you're playing 11 on 10. But I think with high school rules, you get a yellow card. You got to come out and take a breather.
Yep. We do want to thank our new activities director for getting things organized. Our new activities director here at Cheyenne is Corey Herman, doing a heck of a job getting Mustang Media up and running for the year. on our tech department, Ed Mitchell, finding ways to get us some internet connection out here. We're still working on some things technology-wise to make sure that we get this facility up and running so we can get more games for you guys. But we do want to thank those gentlemen for getting that going, and we want to thank our former activities directors, Greg Limke and Ross Richards, for getting this up and off the ground. So we are excited. We are going to get a huddle camera installed here out the field so that we can get all these games streamed for you, whether we're available or not. That technology is able to push a live stream out to you, whether there's commentating or not, and that's going to be exciting for us. A little bit of a delay on shipment. COVID has been a little bit crazy, just getting all sorts of equipment out to people, but as soon as we get that to you, we're going to be able to get JV games to you. Everything that's going to be on this field, we're going to be able to live stream for you, so we're excited to do that, and we want to thank all of our activities directors for getting that thing going.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for putting this on. I thought it was outstanding. I think you guys covered over 100 games last year throughout all the sports, and I thought you guys probably had the best coverage throughout the state. And I'm not just saying that because I'm at this school, but I'm a guy that wants to watch film on everybody. And as soon as I find a link, and sometimes you don't get to see the scoreboard, or you don't have a good camera angle. You guys had dunk cameras. You guys had bench cameras. You guys had interviews at halftime and stuff like that. So you guys do an outstanding job. And I know my dad, he's looking forward to basketball season of watching games on Mustang Media, as well as, parents, families, and relatives. And Coach Lou.
Got to get Coach Lou down in Florida, man. He wants to connect. Yeah, and we will, obviously, even when we get these soccer games upcoming, we will have some extra camera angles for you, some bench cams and some fan cams and stuff like that. Obviously, you couldn't put them out tonight due to the conditions, so we're running off just a couple of cameras. But we do want to thank our boosters for supporting us with some of the technology that we're using tonight to stream for you. So they've been obviously awesome with all the activities and great community just in general around our school. Jackson, you got an update for us from the volleyball game?
Yes, the Mustangs are currently leading in the set, 22-19.
Looks like it's the third set. Mustangs took the first two, so
Direct kick here.
Looking to sweep.
Mustangs still on the attack, but that...
Yeah, it was a direct kick by number 21, Nick Sept there, and awesome job by the Red River goalie. I'm not trying to catch the ball, just kind of punching it out and giving an opportunity for Cheyenne on a corner kick right here. And they're just trying to, kind of ruin Red River's night of making sure that they don't have a clean sheet.
And this would be good. We got about 8 minutes left here. Obviously the game might not be in question anymore. Great corner kick there.
Great cross.
Good opportunity, and
seems like Isaiah Williams has been the guy. He's taken the last 3 corner kicks. Good strike there.
Good strike, a little deflection, I think, by Red River. Got that one kicked off of the way.
But that'll lead to another corner kick for the Mustangs. And I like the sense of urgency by Isaiah, number 4. They're down 3-0. Less than 8 minutes, and he's sprinting after that ball, trying to get another corner kick, just trying to do something positive right here, and almost put it in on his own there, just using the wind on his back there. I hear the parents yelling for a handball. I don't know if the Red River guy got it, but once again, another corner kick for the Mustangs. See if we can.
The angle on this one maybe not quite as good as it was on the other side, but that one's
a
good opportunity. And
those are outstanding crosses by Isaiah. He's putting them into play. They just got to get a bigger body. Might have to get one of my basketball guys out there. Maybe get a 6'5", 6'6" guy out there. Or they got to get Derek Lobo.
Get Lobo. Get him. That guy likes to jump out of the gym.
Yeah,
so.
he can throw it down. So maybe that's what they're missing right there. A guy that can get up and win those headers.
Mustangs look to push again.
It's a good fight out of the Mustangs the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes here.
I think you're right, Coach. It's that sense of urgency.
They're looking to get on the board.
And that's a pride factor, too, as well. 6 minutes to go here. You're right. Obviously, we did say that the Rough Riders have had a couple of shutouts. Beat North and Shanley in that fashion, but
Red River substitution, number 17, Ahmet Rasaili, and number 19, Breton Daku.
Number 13, Nathan Christensen with a goal kick for Red River. Kicks it out of bounds. 19 for Red River, tried to save it. Throwing for Cheyenne right here. Isaiah Williams possessed it, passed it in the middle.
Well, you can see even just that pass up there by Red River, it just looked like it hit a wall up in the sky and dropped straight down. It looked like they might have had an opportunity to get out in front, but the ball just couldn't get there. So as you can see, the conditions are a little bit difficult. Got that, never in North Dakota can you just have a rain falling straight down. And we had that a little bit this morning, and all of a sudden it reminded us where we actually live, and then the rain has to come straight sideways. So,
probably the rain isn't that big of a deal. I would say probably the number one factor, in football, and I would say even, soccer here, is the wind, because sometimes it's just going to keep it on side of the field, and then a team's just going to possess it a little bit more. And I was just kind of surprised that it wasn't down over here with the way the wind is blowing right now. But that's how it goes sometimes.
Rough Rider slow to get up there, but he's able to recover after a little bit of a collision, and that'll be a free kick here for the Rough Riders. Good opportunity here for the Rough Riders. They're unable to get that one. And it looks like the best defense in that situation, again, was the wind that kind of blew the ball back away from a striker.
Yeah, it was a good cross by, again, Brooks just kind of keeping in play, and then a Red River player knocked it up, and great job by number 1, the senior Jay Kubitz, of coming up and knocking it forward, and Cheyenne defender was able to kick it out or get it out of the zone.
So now there's just about 2.5 to play here.
Good slide tackle.
Hesitation move there, but unable to get much of a foot on that one. And now the opportunities for the Mustangs are going to be pretty limited. That ball momentarily knocked free. It looked like they were going to maybe have an opportunity, but
Two-minute warning.
So 2 minutes to play, and the Rough Riders content with just kind of possessing the ball and seeing if they can just kind of move the ball. And the Mustangs looking to flip the field here. And once again, the Rough Riders clear it out. Now they're on the offensive.
Nice move.
Oh, and this is going to be a great opportunity, but
I just missed it.
Slid that one
That's
just to the. That might be the first ball tonight, though, that he hit that did not look clean.
He's got some good ball handling, dribbling skills with his feet.
Mustangs looking to push. And now we're sitting at 1 minute to play. Shot on goal there, but not a lot behind that one for Breidenbach. And that might have been Sept on it. So now we're sitting at about 30 seconds. Certainly Grand Forks, Red River, just looking to milk the clock here. Get onto the bus, go home, take that trip up I-29, and soak in the glory of another shutout on the season. So off the left foot there, that one sails a little. And that looks like it's going to be it for the Mustangs. Just not able to capitalize when they wanted tonight, and Red River able to do what they needed off the foot of Gannon Brooks, who came away with 3 goals. That's obviously, if we're going to pick a player of the game, that's got to be the guy. He's coming away with
hat trick.
Coming away with 3, almost has 4. Only goals in the game, and he seemed like he was everywhere tonight, wasn't he, guys?
Yeah, without a doubt. He's a really good player, and he almost had a 4th one there at the end. Very elusive player. And so, yeah, no-brainer on who the player of the game is there.
Well, obviously, Coach Melendez is going to talk to his boys and try to straighten things out, but certainly a lot of season left here. Mustangs are going to be coming away on the losing.
3-3 overall, 2-2 and 3 in the EDC.
And so, obviously, at the end of this one, the Mustangs are going to have some lessons to learn, but still got a lot of games left. Who do they got next on the schedule?
They got West Fargo High at West Fargo on Tuesday, September 7th at 7 o'clock.
And then we're going to have a home game here against Fargo North on September 9th. So we'll be back to hear from you guys then. So until then, I'm Aaron Knodel.
I'm Jackson Miller.
And I'm Tom Kachofner.
Hey, we'd like to thank you for all you've done. See you guys next time.